Okay, hello everybody. I'm not doing music today because my last two videos, the YouTube didn't like it because they could hear the radio in the background. So I guess in some countries it blocked the audio from going through or something. I don't know. So, if anybody watched those two videos that said they were, let me see here. I'll tell you exactly which ones came up. Hold on. Let me see here. I think it was layer 5 and 6, but let me check. Okay, so it was the African American skin tone, yeah, layer 5 and 6. It says are partially blocked because of copyright. Says the video contains copyrighted material. As a result, it may have been blocked in some countries or regions. So if you guys saw those videos and the audio was okay, then let me know so that I know for sure, because I'm not sure right now. I know they did have some views, and layer 5 did have some likes, so I'm assuming that one, the audio was okay. So anyway, please, if you've watched that, just leave a comment or send me a private message or something so that I know that yes, the audio for those two were okay. I've looked at them and it seems the audio is okay, but I don't know if it's because it's just showing me my audio, and so because I'm the runner of the YouTube channel, if that, I don't know, but just please let me know. Okay, so because this is my Caucasians that you guys may not have known yet, but my I have a new art studio. So this, let me see if I can get this to, I'm now in, whoops, that doesn't do very well. There we go. I am now in, that's a mess over there because I'm still putting stuff on the shelves. But I am now in this, oops, okay, sorry, I have to spin you back around, otherwise the wire is getting, but this is my new studio. So I am loving it. Before I was sharing it with my dad's computers in his office, and so, and I knew he didn't like having my dolls all over. So, so what I'm going to do today, this is going to be the Caucasian with Quinby, and we're going to be doing the red creases today. So with the red creases, I use, I don't use the primary red. I use this, I don't know how to say it, alizarin crimson hue permanent. That's what I use. So, I have this one too, the Van Dyke red, but I think it's has too much of a brown, like too dark of a tinge for that. So, especially for Caucasian. That one I'm going to be using more for the African American creases because it's so dark. So I've already got my soft touch varnish in here. Somebody mentioned asking me if I put any medium in it, and I don't. I was just using the varnish and water in the paint. So I thought I would try using this matte medium and see what that does. So I've already added just a couple drops of that in here. So I have equal amounts of the varnish and the matte medium in here. And now I'm just going to add the paint. Let me get my stirring brush here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of paint. It's about, I add about equal portions of the three. Which this will be more than what you need if you're just doing one doll. But I have to put some more red on Sandy here. And so she will be up for sale soon. She should have already been done, but I've been having some health issues, which is also why I haven't gotten a video up in a little while. Why it's, you know, they've been kind of more sporadic at getting my videos up. So I'm going to try and do my best to at least get 2 videos up a week now. I need to be at least working on my dolls every day because I'm trying to, you know, start my business. And I have sold 3 of them so far. And then I have 1 made for me, and I made 2 for my mom before she passed away. So, but I'm planning on, Levi's done. It has been done for a while, but I'm just getting his pictures done. And that's the same thing because of my health issues. So, I'm going to be putting him up on reborns.com, along with Sandy also on the reborns.com. And I'm going to pay the extra so they'll be on the front page. So I can hopefully get them sold. Make a little bit of money. Or a little bit of my money back. With only selling 3 and as many kits as I have right now, I have not made a profit yet because it's just, I have so much invested in it. Because I think I have like 12 or 13 kits that I have that aren't, most of them I haven't even started yet. And some of them are Bountiful Baby ones. And the Bountiful Baby, like this one, this is the one I'm testing out a new way of doing. I'm going to turn on this one over here because it's there. I'm trying a different way of doing the African American on here, because I think it looks more dirty than African American. Sorry, I need the light for me so I can see better, but yet I'm trying to get it to be more, maybe I need to get a different bulb, because it washes it out so much on the video. Anyway, but this way of doing it, just to me, it looks so dirty. I usually do the primary colors until I get it dark enough, and then I'll add a little bit of brown in there. But somebody told me just to keep going. So I'm testing that out with this one, where I'm just going to kind of keep putting the brown layers on her and see if they're right, see if it comes out. And then the twins I'm doing my primary method with. Those are getting sold. This one's, and the rest of the Bountiful Baby ones, I'm probably just going to end up donating because I don't like the quality of the Bountiful Baby versus the regular kit, not regular kits, but the other kits made by other artists. The vinyl on them is just a better quality. It takes the paint better, and I think they look more lifelike than the Bountiful Babies do. Although I have made Christopher, and Christopher, when he's done, does look really realistic. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on him before I sold him. So I made a awake version of Christopher and a sleep version of Christopher, and both of those I've sold. So now we've got it all mixed really, really good. You just want to make sure that all the bits of paint are mixed in, so you're not going to have any, you know, chunks of paint in there. And then I'm just adding distilled water. You guys know this already, but just for anybody else who's just starting out with this video. And then you want to do it until when you mix it and tilt it, it becomes clear. So see how quickly that clears? And then I usually add just a little bit more on top of that just to make sure. You want it very, very, very translucent. Or I've seen people who will also take it and put it on a paper towel to see how translucent it is. But I prefer the tilt method, so. And, oh, I forgot to bring down, I got some new, actually, I might have those. Hold on, I'm going to pause the video real quick. Okay, guys. I've turned the camera around because I forgot to show you. This is the quilt that I'm making. I love the look of the little monsters and the letters and stuff. So this is going to be the top, and then this is going to be in the middle, and then there's another one right here that is going to go on the bottom of that. So I'm going to start making these quilts and either selling them, selling them separate, or selling them together with the doll. So I wanted to see if that gave me a little more of an edge in including a quilt with them, a unique quilt. So okay, I had to go get my other sponges because I just bought some new sponges. Because all of mine are, I think they're that my other set was all gone. They're all gone or almost gone. So, and you should wear gloves just so you don't get the oils on, but I haven't brought my gloves down here yet from upstairs where I was doing my painting before, and my hands are really dry anyway, so I don't really have a lot of oils on my hands. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. I'm just gonna put some of my actual drinking water in here. I don't have access to water down here, and I don't think I brought the distilled water down here yet. Which usually I don't use the distilled water to clean my brushes, but anyway, okay. And normally I'm not going to have all these dolls on here. I have a little bit of a mess today. Alright, so remember we're always going to spritz this. Let me get you down a little bit closer here. There we go. Okay. So you always want to wet your sponge. It doesn't need to be soaking wet, just a little spritz. And okay, sorry, I just had to check something real quick. Okay. So let me get Serena out of here. I love her. She's so pretty. Or not Serena, I'm sorry, Quimby. Serena is the African American twin. There. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I use this, if it will be easier for you guys to see the coloring and still give me enough light. I guess I should have paused it while I did this, but okay. So there, that should work. And it's a little bit better for the coloring for you guys. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry I'm taking so long today. It spreads on there, so I have some water on there. And bring out my little Q-tips and stuff so that I can get anything off of her. Okay. Now, sorry, I am totally disorganized today. I'm going to, I forgot to dust her off ahead of time. Which, when you're working with Caucasian, isn't that big of a deal. Because they don't really show it as much. Alright. And I don't know what I'm thinking of for this because we're doing creases. So I just need my brushes for that. Alright. So first we're going to start with, or I'm going to start with the eyes here. And then I'm going to take my pointed oval brush. I love these for creases because I'm trying to see if I can get, there we go, that's better light for you guys. Because when you do the creases with this, it fans out so that it's so that it leaves it at a point. It like is thicker and then narrow. I don't know, my brain's not working right today, so I can't think of what I'm saying, but and then I'll take another brush and just make sure that it blends out and doesn't make this like line. Maybe I'll shorten this video a little bit. I just started painting and it's already 18 minutes in. And just grabbing that paint and bringing it through. Actually, I accidentally got some paint on the bottom and top of the lid instead of just the where I wanted it to. And I put a little bit more paint on this side too, so as I do this, I'm just kind of getting the excess paint off on the paper towel. And then go ahead and blend it out like that. I think I'm going to put a little bit more over here because I put so much on the other side. I had more paint on my brush than I thought I did. And I also will kind of push in as I do that because that will, for this crease, it'll kind of get it on the top and the bottom here too, so it won't just be a line, it'll kind of blur into the eyelid too. As you want to blend it with other areas, you don't want it just to be a line. Okay. A little bit more down here. And remember, if it's not as dark as you want, it's not going to matter because we're going to be adding more to it. So then I'm going to put a little bit just in the corner right here. Just to kind of start giving it that color that it needs right in the corner of the eye. There we go. Now I'm going to do the sides of the nose, or the creases on the nose. And I'm going to put more paint on my brush, and I'm going to put it in the nose. And remember, the longer you have the paint on here, the darker it is going to be. So you need to watch that. So if you want it darker in that spot, like the nose, then make sure you can either keep reapplying it or you can leave it there longer. Okay, with the nose, I'm just kind of dragging it up a little bit so that it kind of blends in there. And then I'm going around that crease, and then I'm also pulling it down. So you want to take that crease and just pull it down to the side of the lip. And we're just doing it with that excess paint that's on your brush. We're not going to add. And we're going to do the same thing with the little lip flange. We're just going to kind of take what was on the tip of the nose, or the base of the nose, and bring it down to color that little lip part right there. Sorry, it's giving a shadow. Trying to reposition a little bit so it's not so, I don't know, maybe I'll move the camera a little bit next time. Anyway, so then you're going to go in the nose and you're going to twist it around so that it gets all over inside of there. And I do have one side that's darker than the other, so I'm going to add a little more. And that's all you got to do. Okay. Now, every couple minutes you want to make sure you're stirring that paint around. Otherwise it's going to get, you're going to have more paint in, it's going to settle basically. You don't want that. Okay. So now we're going to get inside of the mouth, and if you need to, you can squeeze the cheeks to help. This one, it doesn't really help, but some of them, it'll help to push out that inner part of their mouth, but this one's really deep, so it doesn't really. So I'm just going to put a lot of paint in this one just because her mouth is so deep. And want a lot of paint in there, and then I'm going to let that sit there for a little bit. While that's working, I'm going to do the little creases in the lips here. And this little part here. I'm going to use, I have a filbert that's a little smaller than I'm going to use for this, because these lines are so fine. You have to have a lot of patience to make these dolls, or a lot of love for them, which I have both. I find it very relaxing. Okay, so I'm also going to take this and just kind of, with my brush that just has I haven't added any more paint to it, but I'm just going to use the paint that I have and kind of drag it around the sides of the mouth, just to start to darken that a little bit. And I'm not adding any more paint to do it. Okay. And there's this one has little teeny tiny. I'm going to grab an even smaller brush here to get those, because they are so, I don't even know if you can see them. They're so tiny. They're just some little tiny grooves here for the lips that I want to emphasize. And it's all up to you how much. You don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do it at all. So it just depends on your vision for your baby here. So then I'm just taking the brush and I'm just tapping it, trying to get up. I'm not brushing it anywhere. I'm just trying to kind of get up that excess paint. And now I'm going to get this chin. And put a little too much paint there. And sometimes I'll take and I'll kind of, because there's going to be a shadow here, I'll just kind of bring that up underneath the lip too to make that shadow. A lot of the painting with these dolls is just kind of emphasizing the deeper points so you make it more 3D. And now that I'm done with the rest of the mouth, now I can go in and grab the excess paint. You wanna, and one of the reasons I put so much paint in there too is you don't want it to get a chance to dry. Because if it gets a chance to dry, then you're gonna have water spots and stuff. Or not water spots, but like paint spots. So you want to make sure you go in and work it around and get the excess out before it dries. Okay. So now we'll move on to the ears. And I'm going to do the back of the ears first, because that's a spot that I'm going to want to sit to get darker. And down in the ear, we're going to want that. I put a little more down there just so that I can get that darker too. And I'm just going to put it around. But I'm being careful. Let me get something. Okay, I'll use this since it doesn't have any paint on it. You want to be careful here and with these edges. Because you want these to be the lightest, and I don't even usually put any paint on here beyond what I put on like the base. You'll still get some pink on here just working around it, but you want this to be as pale as you can, this cartilage here, and the very tip of this cartilage. So sometimes I'll even use like a finer brush on the smaller dolls. I'll use a fine brush like this to do it, so that I be sure and not get it on there. So I'm just getting like the inside of the wall of the ear and down in there. And then I take that and I just bring it up this way a little bit just so that it kind of goes from dark to light as it's going towards the cartilage. And you want right here too is the parts that's hardest to make sure that you just get in that crease and you're not going on that cartilage. And I'll take, once I get that done, I'll use the rest of my brush and just kind of put a little bit of paint out here too, where those depressions are for the ear. And right there. And then there's another little depression right here. So I'm just going to emphasize that just a little bit. And then I'm going to go around the back of the ear, because that tends to be pinker. Plus I've found that for some reason that crease on reborns doesn't tend to hold the paint as well. So I go over that a lot to get it darker. Okay, now we'll do the other ear. If there's any questions you have or anything that I'm not covering that you want to know about, please put it in the comments. And please, whoops, I forgot to do the back of the ear. Like and subscribe, because that helps me out a lot. And especially if you want to be able to know when I get new videos out, because right now I don't have a schedule on when they're coming out yet. So hopefully as I start to feel better, I'll do that. Well, not hopefully, but I will. And I'll work on this camera angle and these lights too. I also, some of them have little like indentations right here, so I'll go over that a little bit too. And just put a little tiny bit on there. Go around here. This one doesn't have an indent there, but because the other side is, I'm going to kind of put a little bit there. Just so they look uniform. And this, there's usually an indentation right there too, so I'll do that. And I'll go back here and do the back of the ear. And if you feel like if you're brushing it and it still is really wet, then you probably have too much water on your brush and you need to take some off. Alright, now we'll go to the neck flange. And when I'm doing this, I usually don't go all the way to the tip. I do a line like that. And I'll let that sit while I do one here. And one here. And one there. Because what I'll do is I'll take and go from the middle and just pull the paint out to make it, to give it that effect where it's darker here and then goes to lighter as it pulls out. And I'll do the same thing on this side. And if it goes over the edge, just take another brush and just blend it in there. And too, if you go and pull it out and you notice at the tip there's the line there, you do the same thing. You're just going to blend it through. I didn't have one there. I was just Didn't want you to think you were seeing something that wasn't there. Alright. Do the same thing with this one. This actually goes all the way to the other part, right here. Okay. And in the deeper parts, I kind of bring it up on the sides a little bit to show more of that depth. I hope you guys are having a blessed day today. I'm having a nice relaxing day. I went out with my friends yesterday and went out to lunch and stuff. I went to World Market, so that was fun. I had actually never been there. Next time they want to take me to IKEA, because I've never been there either. Oh, you know what? I already did that one. I was thinking, oh, it's kind of dry. Well, yeah. I get to talking and then I'm not paying attention. I hope you like if you're painting along with me, I hope you like the way yours is coming out. Again, if there's any way I can help and answer any questions, just put them in the comments. I would love to answer questions for you. Okay. So there's all the creases for her. So now I'll take her and put her back in the little food tent thing. And I'll get out one of her arms or legs. I'll get one of her arms. This is the, by the way, this is the Christopher. That's the Bountiful Baby Christopher one that I was saying that he comes out looking a lot better than the other ones do there. Okay, let's see. Well, she has a tummy too, so I'll do her tummy at the end. She doesn't actually, it's just her belly button. I have too many arms and legs in there. All right. Trying to go a little bit faster so it's not such a long video. My other ones kind of get long. Okay, I'm gonna stir again. Be careful. If you have any baby parts by where you're stirring, that you're not splattering anything, because you don't want to get any splatters of color on them. Okay. So I'll start right here. This is a little tiny crease. So I'm not going to put as much paint in it. Usually I start out with the fist. I don't know why I started out with the upper arm with her. And with the arm joint, I'll do the same thing. I'll brush it and then just kind of pull it out a little bit so it gets that blended in that, you know, shadow, not shadowy, but the effect of that, because your isn't just their arm that's, it's not just the crease of their arm that's got a red line. That red is going to come out a little bit past that. So, and I'm going to take the very fine one and do these, and just do them like I'm not going to do those little tiny ones. Uh-oh. Something got on her arm. There we go. I gotta watch that because I've been noticing that sometimes the babies will get a little black mark on them or something. I'm not sure what is rubbing up against them that's causing that. Luckily, it just comes right off. So you just want to pick and choose, whoops, wrong brush, which creases you want to emphasize. You can do them all, you can do none of them, you can do anything you want. Like I say, being the artist, you get to do it the way you want it. I mean, if you're painting it for people to see, I mean, for people to buy, then you want to make sure you do a good job. But if you're doing it just for yourself, then the only person that matters if you like it is you. You're the only person you have to make happy. So, and if you want to find out if how realistic they look, show them to new mothers or to nurses. I took mine once because most of where I get the advertisement from is just taking them to the grocery store stuff, and then I hand out my business card if they ask for one. But I took one, my very first Christopher doll I took to go get blood drawn, and the woman said that he looked really good other than he looked too blue, and the reason he did is because he was laying up against a blanket on one side, so I knew he kind of looked a little bluer on that side. But she would do blood draws from newborn babies all the time. So she kind of was able to tell me, okay, this is, what coloring looks good or what coloring doesn't, or, So if you want to know how good your baby is, take it to a nurse that regularly sees babies or does blood draws or whatever. They're the best critics too, because she had no problem. I didn't even ask what was wrong with the baby, and she's like, yeah, it's a little too blue. Like, yeah, I already knew that. Which also tells you need to be careful because you can get rub off. And I was debating on what to do with him, and then I had parents of a little girl, and the little girl she had a reborn doll, but it wasn't a very good one, and they wanted to get her a good one that looked better, but it wasn't, they didn't have, like, my other ones at the time were $500, and they didn't have $500 to spend. So, they were talking about, well, could we get one? And this is like 3 days before Christmas, but they were like, well, could you make us one I was like, well, I already have one that's done that's kind of messed up. And it wasn't really dark blue or anything. It was just a little bit blue. It had more of like a blue tinge to it on the side of its face, but it wasn't like blue. So it still looked really good. So it's like, well, I have this one I could sell to you for like $200. And they're like, okay. So it worked out good that I had that. Okay. I'm doing too much talking here. So now you can see that I was just doing all the creases on the hand. And with the inside of the hand like this tends to be more red. So again, I just kind of draw that red up a little bit and out a little bit. So it gets that red on the side of the fingers. And I don't do all the creases on the hand, but I do all the little lines in between the fingers and stuff, obviously. Because you want to have that darkness there because that's going to look more realistic. So we just do that with the blood red. And they're already a little bit darkened from when we did the blue. So basically it's just all about building on one layer on top of another. And I always kind of brush the inside of the palm right here, especially when their hands closed. That kind of gets more of a red right there. So some of it too is just looking at your own skin, because babies are going to have mottling and stuff that we don't have, but a lot of their veining or the redness, if you make your hand into a fist like this baby is, you can see where your fingers will turn more red and where they're going to be more pale. So you can just emulate that with them. I also will take that extra little bit of paint and bring it up between the knuckles like this, because that helps kind of give that color in between the knuckles, so it kind of separates them. I'm a bad example right now because my hands are all inflamed. But okay, just adding a little bit more, or rubbing that paint that I already have on my brush right there to kind of darken it a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to take my really fine brush here and my really good, or my reading glasses, and I'm just going to do just the inside of the nail, or the edge, not the inside, the edge of the nail, and under the nail, like that. Hopefully you guys can see that. I have my other glasses on, so I can't tell. It's all blurry to me. So I just do that to all of the nails. This brush bristles are separating on me. It just kind of darkens that edge of the nail to kind of give it that 3D effect, because it is gonna be down more. And then doing the edge of the nail, well, these I don't really do much, but with the thumb and this forefinger here, it gives it a little bit of darkness so that when you go to paint the nails, you can see where the nail's supposed to end. Plus your under your fingernails is darker anyway. But I mostly do it just for me so that it's easier to see, because once you start getting the layers of paint on there and you're starting to paint the colors of the nails, it's kind of really hard to see where the nail tip ends. And then I just brush it around there. Oh. You have something on there. Okay. And then on the tip, I just kind of just pat the paint off of it. There we go. There's a dust or something in there. Okay. So now we're done with, oops, wait. I stand corrected. I forgot one thing here. So if your doll has little dimples where the knuckles are, you want to do those too. And you're just kind of doing a little tiny bit. Just to kind of emphasize those dimples. When we do creases, we're just emphasizing anything that has any depth to it. Alright, we're done with the arm, and let me get her leg. Here we go. I'm just brushing her off with the kabuki brush to get any dust off of her. Okay. We're going to make sure we... Usually in between each piece, I'll stir it really good, and then I'll stir it a couple times while I'm doing the painting. So I make sure that... Oops. It's the wrong one. Okay. I love doing the feet. So, oops, sorry. I'm just picking a little bit. Probably should have used the other brush. I'm going to do that. I think I like the feet and legs so much too, because I love doing the fat rolls when we do the purple on the fat rolls right here. And I think when you're painting the foot, there's so much definition in here to paint. I think that's what makes it fun. There's a lot of definition you need to put on these. Don't forget, if it's a deeper crease, you want to kind of get a little bit on both sides of the crease too, so it doesn't just look like a straight line. As if it just looks like somebody just drew a line on there. It is not going to look real at all. I end up having a lot of paint on here, so I'm just using it to do this. Also for areas like here where I know I want it really dark, to show that depth, I'll just sit here and go back and forth too. And that helps kind of work it into that vinyl. And now I'm going to do in between the little toes. And I want that to be darker, so I'm going to do the bottom of the toes while I'm waiting for that. A little tiny hair in there. And with the toes, you want to be really careful, especially if it's a small baby. Because, whoops. You just want to get those lines. You don't want to be getting them too wide. Otherwise, it doesn't look realistic. So I'm trying to get where I can see it good, but still have you guys be able to see it as well. Hopefully I'm not getting the top of my head. I don't think I am. Another piece of lint in there. The toes like to get lint in them. There we go. I will try and get this put up today. Hopefully we're going to be raptured soon, so I'm trying to see if I can get this done by then. Get both of these babies done by then. Okay. Now we'll go through and do the other side. And you want to be really careful so when you're doing these, I'm just barely touching it with the brush because I don't want to push in on the brush and have it go thick. I want that line to be thin. Because when, like, your hands, you can see, you know, the darkness in between them, and that dark is just real deep. And it's just a thin line. Now, if you're not real careful, all of a sudden, when I first started doing this, if you're not careful and you use the brush, then pretty soon, like, your whole toe is red. And we are going to be adding more color to the toes and stuff later, but if you get too much on it now, at this layer, it's not going to look as good. So now I'm going to take my really fine brush and get a couple of, well, a few of the little lines on the foot. Mostly I just do like the deeper lines. I don't do all of them. I just do the ones that I want to emphasize. piece of lint here. Usually I run the air purifier in here for about an hour before I come in. And I didn't do that today. So I decided to come in here and work earlier than I was going to. And then, whoops. Sometimes I might take that little paint that's on my brush, and then I'll maybe do a couple of the little ones so that they're a lot lighter than the ones that I had put the paint in. And right here where your foot kind of has that kind of indent to it, and you can see on this mold where that little indent is. So I usually kind of take the rest of my paint that's on my brush and put it in there a little bit to darken that too. See, doesn't he have the cutest little foot? Actually, on the camera, see if I can get it in closer here. It looks like there's just lines, but it doesn't look that way in real life. And it looks better too when we get done, when we put other colors in there besides just that. But it's a start. He's got a cute little foot. Okay. Now, go up and do the inside of the knee and do the creases up the leg. He's got a chunky little leg. And you'll kind of learn if you want if you're doing a thicker crease, then you want to use the thicker filbert brush, or I guess this was called the pointed oval brush. And then when you're doing the thinner ones, then you want to use the thinner filbert. Again, if it starts getting that line, just blend that in. And here, see, this is a thicker or a deeper crease, so I'm bringing that paint up on the edge too, to pull that paint out a little bit to show that depth. So I just grab it, and then as I'm going back and forth, I'm just pulling it out. I'm pulling back a little bit so that I get that. And I'm going to do the same thing here, even though this isn't as deep of a crease, but it's the ends, it's right at the crease of the leg, so that's going to have more of a shadow effect to it. And I'm just, because of this one, I'm just pulling it out this way. I'm not really doing up here where the inside of the leg is in. Although we will do that later. We blush the edge of the arms and legs later on. So there we go. That's all done. If you have any this one doesn't really have it, but if you have any grooves right here at the back of the ankle, I usually make sure and do those too, just because I like the look of them being more highlighted. Let me see. So here, this one has a few of those, and I like to make those more visible. If they're really small, like this is for a preemie, then instead of sitting there and doing each one, I just kind of blend it back and forth and just kind of blend it all in. See, her other foot does have some right here. So when I go through and do this foot, then I'll make sure and do that area too. Okay. So there we go. Her leg is done now. Okay. Now, if you do not have a belly, you can stop the video now. Or if you want to learn how to do the belly, then continue on. With her belly, we don't really have, we're basically just going to be doing the nipples and the belly button. She has a couple little creases here. Usually we'll have more creases in the right at the side of the breast here, but she doesn't really. So we don't have much to do on her. So I'm just going to do a quick swipe there and there. And then I just do the that very little like tip or indent of the nipple there. And I might, as I'm doing this, take the rest of the brush that's on here and just kind of, there's indents right here. So sometimes I'll just run the brush over that indent to kind of use up the rest of that paint. Just to kind of start giving it that blush or depth, like right here. And the breastbone. Alright, I'm just gonna barely tap this to get that excess paint off because I don't want to blend that in. I'm just trying to get that very center of that nipple. And this is the most I do. I do not do anatomically correct babies because I don't want to be painting that. And I don't want to have to study that area to paint it. So, I kind of remember what my babies looked like, but oops. There's a little bit of a little tiny bit of a crease right here at the end of the, and there I'm going to pull it out. So it's more of that shadowing or that redness around the umbilical cord. Then take the small filbert, and at first I'm just going to touch to try and get some of the paint off, like that. And then I might take the rest of the the rest of it and kind of just blush it a little bit. Just blend it in a little bit. Like that. And we're done with the belly. Some of the older babies will have, like, when I did the one for my mom, I cannot think of the name of the kit. But she had little fat rolls on her belly. And if you have fat rolls, then you're going to do the same thing as you did to the arms and legs with the fat rolls, that using this to start that crease. So we're eventually, for the fat rolls, going to be doing purple in the fat rolls. So we're just starting getting that undertone color underneath that fat roll. So anyway, so let me know if you have any questions. Again, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time. God bless. Bye-bye. Oh.